You're listening to Well, I Laughed, Part 3 of Plenty of Fish, Am I the Asshole? Yeah.
Oh, I just slid myself. Did I just stop the recording?
No.
Too soon. Okay.
Yeah. Luckily, we weren't like in the story yet.
No.
That would have been bad.
We are back at our friend Kelsey and Edgar's place.
Yes.
No Kelsey and Edgar, unfortunately. They were a hoot last time. But we do have their wonderful dogs here with us.
That were here when we first started recording the first time, and now they've both decided it's not worth it anymore.
I think they understood that we weren't actually recording the first time, and they're like, silly humans.
Like, that's funny.
I take it as a deep, deep compliment when someone introduces their dog to me and they're like, sorry if he's a little skittish, he like doesn't really like guys. And then the dog is totally fine around me.
Dude, they read energy so fast.
It's either I'm like deeply effeminate in the animal kingdom or just my energy, my vibe, my aura, my whatever the word is has gotten pretty good lately. I think so.
Love that for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
How are you? How was your day?
The most stressful part you just saw.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I walked in 20 minutes late, and it's my fault. Walked in 20 minutes late, and you were just like, hi.
I was ready to go.
You were full on Olivia Pope, which I mean, turtleneck, comfy sweater, huge glass of wine.
Thank
huge
you.
Glass of red.
Kelsey left this for me. She was like, if you want it, you can have it. And I figured our relationship is turning into like big sister, little sister, where she just kind of like leaves clothes for me.
What? Sorry.
I love her.
You just do that to me all the time. It's fun to be able to return that.
No, what? Huh? Yeah, and so she left this for me, and I was like, great. Perfect.
Speaking of fun dynamics, we got a chance to meet some of your cousins yesterday.
Yes.
And sorry, real quick, pod talk. Are we saying first names on the? Okay, sweet. Got to meet everybody: Gabby, Simone, Chandler, Jordan. So wonderful, so kind.
They are very kind.
Also, just great energies, and everyone's so good at like sharing stories and reacting.
Keeping a conversation.
Yeah, just super easy to hang out with. They were a joy. They were
really fun. It was really funny when I mentioned that you might be coming. Gabby was like, Grant! Gabby was like, tell him that there's going to be a fan of the pod there. I think Gabby is the only one that listens to the podcast. And then, but secretly, I think Chandler was also excited. He just didn't want to show it.
Sure.
Because he mentioned that she listens to it like while she's getting ready or something. So he'll hear it. And he was like, Grant!
That's very kind. I don't think I dwelled on that a lot last night because sometimes that adds like a little bit of like expectation to everything.
Sometimes I enjoy it because it makes me realize that I don't actually need to talk.
But you did great. You also did that thing that my parents will do sometimes, which is they'll start like the first sentence of a story.
Tell the rest of it,
Right,
Grant.
and then everyone will be like, well, what is that? And then Maya will be like,
Grant.
and it's like, well, I just talked for the last 3 minutes. 5, because of course I did.
Yes.
But yeah, I can share. If you would like me to, I can share.
Shut up. I knew you wanted to.
Every time I had a chance to ask a question, I tried to aggressively get it away from me, like a game of like hot potato. I was like,
nope.
Tell me about the weekend that I wasn't a part of. I want to hear all about your guys' experiences. And that's not out of jealousy. That was out of the like, I have no dog in this arena. No like, oh, and remember that one time you did that one thing? Like this whole thing is sans me, and I want to hear more about it. They were wonderful.
They're really fun.
Yeah.
I love them. I want Chandler to come by more often. I asked him about the lighting setup because he's actually like a professional video editor.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you like look at this? He was like, yeah, I mean, it looks fine. It's like, okay.
Yeah, our production quality has ramped up significantly over the last 9 months, specifically like over the last like 3 months.
Yeah.
I am now like dry shaving before I come here. I'm like, let's just get straight to the skin, try to look as good as possible.
Mm-hmm. I think we both started officially training for the half marathon this week. I just put all of the runs into my calendar.
Oh, that's so smart, actually, to schedule your runs. I do not know why I hadn't thought about doing that before.
I just put them on my calendar, at least so I know which runs I need to do that week, and I can like move them around as I want to. But that way I have it like in the back of my head, or else I'll talk myself out of half of them.
I mean, that's what I've been doing for the entire month of February. It's also been cold, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, today I ran after I walked the dogs and it was dark and I was like, if I had to run any longer, this would not be cool.
But it was so nice today. So
was
warm
really
during
nice,
the daytime. I know because today we were downtown for a little theater field trip. Theater. What's so funny is we come back to school and my kids who didn't see me in the morning because I had a sub now see me. And they're like, oh, mister, where are you? Children are precious, whatever. And I'm like, oh, me and some of the speech and debate team members went on a theater field trip. And they're always, it's so funny. They go, oh, did you guys see a movie? Or like, and then they don't really know how
what
to
else
ask.
to say.
Well, they know there's another option and they know it's like on a stage, but they don't
know what to call it.
Right, exactly. And in their defense, I don't really sometimes either. They're like, did you go to a movie or like a theater? They just repeat the word twice. Theater.
You went to
and
a
it was really
theater.
good. I don't know if it'll still be playing at the DCPA, but if you have a free evening, would highly suggest you go see the play Saboyas, starring, I don't know, I shouldn't have said starring. But it's premiering, featuring at the DCPA. It was a wonderful time. Absolutely loved it.
You know what I found out? That one of my favorite Broadway stars, Jeremy Jordan, I specifically wanted to see him while we were in New York, but I figured he's like big enough. He's probably not doing anything, but I knew he was in an off-Broadway production of Gatsby at the time. And when I like went to look it up, it looked like Gatsby was no longer running. And I just found out it is running. It's about to premiere on Broadway.
Oh, cool.
With Jeremy Jordan. And
so we're going back to New York.
Yes. And also the original Eurydice from Hadestown as his like counterpart.
Is it already premiering? Is it already playing?
I don't think it's already playing. They just posted a video of them performing. I think it was like in preparation.
I am free last weekend of March if that works for you.
I need to see it. I need to see Jeremy Jordan live. I will.
If not last weekend of March, totally fine. I think second weekend of July that is also kind of free for me now.
I think I want to avoid New York City in the summer.
I hear that, but then when am I going to get to it?
That's fair. March seems like a good time frame. We'll talk.
Speaking of, because I think it would be fun to go on another little trip together.
I think it would be fun even for like just like 2 nights. Like one night see a show, other night go to a bar.
Yes, we could make that happen.
Yeah,
we could make so much happen. I'll borrow Lydia's sleep apnea machine.
Thank you.
She won't let me take it, but
I was gonna say
0% sure. Lydia, it's so funny. Sometimes she loves sharing. Sometimes no, she doesn't.
It's very specific things too.
I think she recently did not like sharing her ski poles.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
She wasn't even skiing.
What?
You know, she has a quirk, and we love that about her. She also was at the theater production today. It was actually so sweet. The theater.
You know, I don't remember the character's name in The Things We Do in the Shadows, What We Do in the Shadows. The one that has all the weird
New York City.
He was recently interviewed about that, I think, or maybe not recently, but I saw like an Instagram post and people were asking him why he did that, and he was literally like, it's a way to get like another character's attention if it looks like they're not super invested.
Yes.
It was never scripted. It was literally just him reading off the other character. If he thought that they were not invested in him, he would just be like, New York City.
Or remind me of the actress's name who plays Moira Rose.
Oh, Catherine O'Hare.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Catherine O'Hare was doing this interview, and it was about finding a way to get into the Moira voice and what she needs to do, and because she would lose it sometimes. And I want to show the kids the video. I'll probably show this acting students it tomorrow. But ask me what my favorite movie is.
What's your favorite movie?
The Aviator. And there's just so many vowels that she can kind of oscillate within the word.
That was like the word
how
that she chose.
Would get into it. David. And it's so good. And if you don't think I'm going to force kids to do it next year during next speech and debate season, fair.
It's like certain
wrong.
like words can get people into accents, you know, like yeah.
Okay. Join in if you know, as soon as you know. Okay? Join in if you know, as soon as you know. Do this at home, folks. Do this in your car. Well, my sister had a baby, and then she passed away, and the baby, it was born without arms or legs, but I've been working double shift at the factory, but it's happy, and it's healthy, and it's growing, and just to see it. Do you know what I'm talking about? You have no idea what I am talking about?
No, I got so stressed. Bo came to help.
My legs are now warm because Bo's around. No, that's I think the even closer.
He likes leaning against people.
That it's from Shark Tales.
Oh, it's been so. I watched it like once.
The little shrimp is like pleading for its life to not be eaten. My sister had a baby. Okay, so your reaction right there was funny, and we're in a room by ourselves. I want to, dear listener, transport you to the last time I had done that monologue. Picture it.
Oh God.
1 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. City bus.
Oh.
Colfax. Me in the center of 18 children on our way back from the theater. Okay?
Oh gosh.
And it's a city bus in downtown, so it's truly and 100% totally safe. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's not safe.
Yeah.
But you kind of got a Noah's Ark of humanity on there,
Yeah,
you know?
it's not, yeah.
And then I go, wait, you guys, no, wait, you don't. And then I just immediately go, well, my sister had a baby. And then and all of the kids are like kind of both shocked and mortified and like embarrassed, but not for themselves, like embarrassed on my behalf. Like I can almost feel like a hand touch my knee, like, mister.
Oh.
And I'm like, how do none of you know this? And I know I'm not getting the words right. For those of you typing out a message on Instagram right now, I cannot wait to read it. And I know I'm not getting the words right. So that was... I do not know how we got to this topic.
I don't know how to get out of it.
I'm
it's
like,
the problem.
okay, so it was like Moira Rose in the New York City. That's right.
New York City.
Here's the thing, friends. The episode that we published today, because it's Wednesday, the episode we published today is part one of Plenty of Fish. Devil in the details. Hope you enjoyed. And we talked about how when it comes out, it's going to be Valentine's Day. We are recording this episode on Valentine's Day, which is also our anniversary.
Which I love that Lydia knew that. She texted us. We didn't even text each other.
Right.
And Lydia was like, is it your recording anniversary tonight?
She goes, haha, so funny. I don't even know why I know that.
I don't either.
Oh, I do, because it's Lydia. Because
That's
it's
fair.
Lydia.
That's fair.
She will not share her $25 ski poles with you, but she will remember the anniversary of that one time you went to that restaurant together. She's wonderful. Today in class, the young kids were like, it's Valentine's Day, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, there's a lot of relationships to celebrate out there. Your friendship relationships is one that you should celebrate and should rejoice in. And probably is actually the more important relationship to invest in when you're in school.
Yes.
And
they don't know that, though.
They don't know that. I also don't know if I know that or if I'm just talking about like you, Lydia, Jacob, Tyler, Danny, like my core group of friends.
Grant just told me right before this that he would, and I quote, never do that when he was drunk, that being get into a stupid argument with their significant other. And I was like, I mean, I can't speak for anyone else, but I think that's a universal experience.
Probably is. I told someone 2 days ago over text message. I mean, you know what this kind of text message was. I said, I think everyone assumes I'm Cam from Modern Family because I'm big, gay, loud, love football, and from the Midwest. But actually, I'm Phil. Kind of dumb, always happy.
Kind of dumb, always happy.
Like, I am deeply aware of the limits of my own knowledge. But I'm kind of goofy. Anyways, so that was what we told the younger kids on Valentine's Day. You rejoice in the relationship of your friends. And then for the older kids, I think what you're about to hear is word for word all I said to them. But what I basically said to them was, I remember when I was a young person, that there were, in my mind, 2 states you could exist in. In a relationship or looking for a relationship. Yeah. And there was no 3rd, 4th, or 5th option. And it's okay to have a 3rd, 4th, or 5th option and to like that option and just, communicate with people around you.
It's actually important for you to like appreciate that option. You need to know yourself outside of a relationship.
Do you know the kids that do not cry in my classroom and who are not distracted by the things that they want to accomplish in their time at our institution? The ones that eschew traditional relationships and are just kind of here talk to people. You know? Just kind of here to play the field a little bit, you know? Like, hey, yeah, we had fun at the dance or whatever, right? Or it was cool to like go to a couple of soccer games with you. I never initiated anything more serious. And I'm sorry if that's kind of heartbreaking, but like, I don't know. I'm just kind of, you know, there's 100 of you and I'm not attracted to half of you.
That's intelligent.
Because you're either boys or girls, right? And it's all binary or whatever. You know, but it's like, you know, it's such a small pool that they're already swimming in. Oh, last thing. Sorry. I don't know if any of this high school gossip is interesting to you, but I was talking to one of my seniors. And they were like, I have this like stupid little crush. And I was like, oh, okay. Like,
a stupid little crush.
Would I know them? I mean, you're kind of sharing it out loud. So I'm not inquisitive, but like obvious follow-up.
But tell me.
And she goes, oh, no, mister. No. If the grades don't touch, neither do we. And I was like, okay, well, that's super clever. But...
Okay, yeah.
Did you understand what this?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. I thought honestly
that's a good rule for high school.
I just thought it was really clever. I was like, wow, look at you with wordplay. So happy anniversary. None of those stories were about you.
What? Everything's about me.
I could share stories about you if you would like.
I'm curious and scared.
Every time I'm about to join Maya at a social gathering, I'll text her, hey, on my way, so she knows to expect me. And she'll go, cool, what do you want to drink? I'll get your first round. Super kind. Subsidize your public school teacher friends. and I'm always like, oh my God, you truly do not need to do that.
And then immediately followed.
Old fashioned.
By his order.
You know you don't need to do that.
Oh,
but
yeah, I know.
Also... it's rude.
Okay, the first time I did that, I was not here on this realm.
You had been out much longer.
And also, we got those drinks for free, which I don't know if you knew. And I just snagged
like
one
the
for
source
Grant.
of money had been kind of innocuous. Yeah, I didn't feel guilty
that one
about
was
it.
free. Yeah. This one, I was like, he's meeting my cousins.
At 8:15 on a school night.
Yeah.
But
I was
that's
like,
never stopped me before.
Yeah. I was like, I can order it. And Casey was like, you can just put it on my tab. And I was like, I also have a tab open. And he was like, well, just put it on my, because his was at the bar. Mine was on the phone for the food. And he was like, just put it on mine. And I would have put it on my tab, but I couldn't figure out how to order an old fashioned. And so actually Casey bought it.
Thanks, Casey, if you're still listening.
He's not.
So this is Plenty of Fish,
yes.
Part 3. Am I the Asshole series.
Yes.
We're going to do a series of, at least what I have collected, a series of Am I the Asshole stories from Reddit about dating fails, dating miscommunications, all said in good humor, but also said now. Also, we are 2 weeks removed from Valentine's Day. Does that mean it's March when this comes out?
This one comes out on the 28th.
Last Wednesday of February.
Yes.
Oh, and it's a leap year. Sorry, none of this matters. But it's a leap year.
I didn't even put that together.
Tomorrow's also still February. Isn't that fun?
Wow.
So I would kind of love to start sharing some of these. Do you have more life updates? Oh, fuck.
I don't, but I get the feeling Grant may.
What? What was the last update I gave you on...
The candy?
Candy Thief.
That you didn't get to watch all the footage from the thing, and so you didn't really know what happened.
Okay, so they went back with more time.
Yes!
I'm sorry, I'm giving you this information really, truly as quickly as I'm getting it. The turnaround time is 0 episodes.
Our Discord has been blowing the fuck up every
Okay.
time anything gets mentioned.
So, they were able to watch the whole video. They were able to sit down and watch it. A girl enters the frame and disappears. Not like in the frame. She doesn't like evaporate
she just like
in the middle
walks
of the hallway.
out of the frame.
Basically like kind of walks through one frame and can't be seen on any of the other frames. So that's crazy and wild.
I hate it already.
Well, what we found out about this security system at this school is that it's pointed so precisely down the hallway, it doesn't cover any of the entrances.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So if you were, I don't know, trying to sneak around,
you could.
You 100% could.
I don't like it. I don't like that implies that this person knew that.
Right.
I don't like that that's a possibility.
Knew it or didn't know it and got away with it. Still ballsy to do. Like, listen, years ago, we were at a different high school.
Yeah.
And this high school was hosting a tournament, and the NHS chapter at this high school had put their like NHS shirts in a box outside the classroom, and kids from a different school found it, took like 3, thought it was super funny. And of course, word gets out, and then there's like security footage, and the 2 coaches have to talk to each other. And the first coach is like demanding an apology, and the second coach is like, I think we have really kind of blown this out of proportion.
It's 3 shirts.
And it becomes like a huge deal. Neither one of the schools attends the other's tournament that year. Like it becomes like kind of a blood feud little bit. Right. So security cameras, right? It gets talked about all the time. I was on a tournament 2 weeks ago where the fire alarm got pulled. That was crazy. They're never this exciting. Yeah. And so it's like, did you not know security cameras were there, or did you know and you didn't care, or did you know and you knew how to avoid the blind spot? And now my friends who coach at this school are struggling because they now know a fact about the security system that they can't share. But obviously the kids are curious as to who stole the candy and letters that they wrote.
I'm dying to know.
So here's... because I realize how unsatisfying of an answer that is. That someone enters the frame and we can't really track them, and that most of the cameras do not show the actual doorways. Although we figured out how they were probably getting into these supposedly locked rooms.
At least that's good.
Right. This school is going to host one more tournament this year. And it's going to be...
redirect the security cameras!
And it's going to be smaller. Oh, no. I have proposed, and I don't know if they're taking it seriously or not, that they set a trap. That somewhere on the second or third floor, they assign a handful of kids to hang out in the corner of some classrooms, quietly reading or something, lying in wait to trap or catch a child who tries to break in. I really do mean this when I say life is what you make it, and sometimes you can make it a murder mystery.
That is a phenomenal idea.
Do you know what I want it to be? Spoilers ahead, but it's been out for like 100 years. I want it to be like Murder on the Orient Express. Have you ever seen that movie or anything?
No, I know the like plot line though.
Those of you who don't, the plot is there's a detective on train trying to solve the murder, and he's having a hard time because everyone has like an alibi from someone else, or they weren't there in the train. And the big reveal at the end is that everyone on the train was on it. And I think it would be really interesting. Conspiracy side of me.
Yeah. If all the students were in on it?
No. If there were never any letters at all.
It was all a conspiracy by the people
They had realized they had forgotten to do the letters and candy. These are also my best friends. I don't actually mean this, but I think it's funny in this kind of universe.
That's so
They realized
funny.
day 2 of the tournament or whatever that they had forgotten to do
write.
it. And so instead of like apologizing and trying to get to do it ASAP, they're just like, they must have been stolen, and then maybe you don't have to answer any of the other questions if you're just lying initially. They are not the kind of people that would lie. I'm not trying to slander them. Just in the world of funny little conspiracy theories, I think it'd be hilarious.
That would be so funny.
This is me trying to give something to our Discord when I realized how unsatisfying this answer is.
That answer was get better, I don't know, security. What?
That answer is like XOXO, sorry. And when I first told you guys this story, it was like, and tomorrow they check the cameras.
And it was I was so excited.
Okay, so wrap that up, or at least, cliffhanger where you could end it at season 1, or if season 2 comes, it's like natural, but you've wrapped up some of the storylines. Should we get into some Reddit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, first, before we do,
yes,
are you and Casey doing anything for today or this weekend? Or?
No, so here's the thing. I don't think we celebrated we didn't celebrate it last year. I don't think we really celebrated it before. If anything, in past years, we've done like maybe like a dinner or something that weekend. But then yesterday, Casey, I was like, would you celebrate Valentine's Day? Because he was acting like sarcastically angry about it. And I was like, are you actually mad that I'm not going to be here? Because I agreed to house sit.
Right.
And he was like, I mean, I would celebrate. And I was like, what do you mean you would celebrate?
It's like saying like, I could eat.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like, I figured if I didn't even want to deal with finding a dinner reservation, you definitely didn't want to deal with finding a dinner reservation. Right. And so that's how I learned my fiance might celebrate Valentine's Day. I don't know. I think last year he did buy me like a stuffed animal or something, but that was like partially an inside joke.
So in the grand total of the last 3 years, the score of Casey spent 1 night with you and I've spent 2.
Yeah.
Cheers. We take this seriously.
I just wanted to record on Valentine's Day for posterity.
Well, yeah. I
consistency.
For the record, I know that the first anniversary gift is paper, but that's not going to come until May 31st. This is just our dating anniversary.
Yeah.
So I brought her a sleeve of Thin Mints from the Girl Scouts.
Which is something Casey might do. He got me cheese one year, and that's really what all that matters.
I think I actually covered him for like the next decade.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
I also bought those Thin Mints outside my favorite Southern-inspired biscuit restaurant on like Sunday. It's nice to live in a city, y'all. I don't know how else to say it.
As soon as the Girl Scouts started accepting Venmo, the game changed.
They accept a credit card. I got 3 times the points. That's 30.
What credit card company did they pair up with?
I think that you can just get a little card reader now.
Oh my god,
I also wouldn't be shocked
funny.
at all if the Girl Scouts of America
were like partnered with Chase or some shit.
I don't care.
That's funny.
All I know is I have, I'm not concerned about my identity being stolen from the Girl Scouts of America.
Yeah.
And I have just one box of Thin Mints at my house.
It's okay. Abby bought me and Maddie some, I think last weekend or something, some Samoas. So I have those waiting for me at somewhere. The gym, maybe.
Whenever I think of cookies, the first place I think is CrossFit.
Well, she said she would leave them at F45 for us, but now that I'm thinking about it, I was at F45 yesterday, so maybe she's waiting to like instead of leaving them there, she'll actually give it to us in person. But
nice.
I don't know.
All right.
I have some Samoas waiting for me somewhere. All right, let's get into it.
That all right sounds like I was trying to rush you, and I was trying to time like the end of that story. Is there anything else you want to say about your Samoas?
Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
I'm kidding.
I'm a listener now.
Sometimes. Jesus.
I guess I'd just be lying on tonight's episode. First story. Am I the asshole for telling my friends dating facts?
Oh.
Such a obscure yet
That's
pointed.
so vague.
Right.
Yeah.
My good friend and I were talking about her dating life. She's been trying to find a partner for some years now and doesn't like to date a lot because of the time investment. Heard,
Same.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So many stories already popping up. I'm like her quote unquote girlfriend that she complains to, and I'm happily enjoying the gossip. So she got really frustrated with her last date, and so I asked her what exactly is she looking for. She proceeds to tell me what her preferences are. She wants a man who makes $200,000 or more a year.
Holy sh!
Does not have children.
Does it say how old these people are?
Does not have children. Never married. 6 feet tall and older than her. And she's 37.
That's a lot of demands.
It's actually just quite a long list.
Yeah, I feel like half the things I learned that I wanted came after I had them.
Right. Likes me, I like them. Those two are really hard,
Gets me
actually.
cheese for Valentine's Day. That was how I knew.
No. Those first two right now, I don't know.
They like.
Really hard. Right, exactly. We're both like, yeah, that's so hard to get to these days. I said, that's perfectly fine. However, here's the math in that.
Oh, no.
God, this feels like so many of our friends.
This feels like something I would immediately do.
Yeah, it feels like all of our friends who have masters in math and science and engineering, and Lydia and I being like, well, you know.
What's a prime number?
Exactly.
Shocking.
So much about her. Anyways, so here's some of the numbers that I pulled. I pulled up one of those dating calculators and I showed it to her. She thought that was about 4% of the men out there. So she's interested in dating about 4% of the men. I said it's actually 0.02%. And out of that poll, maybe half she will be attracted to. So she wasn't mad, but then I said, the other challenge is men like that have more options than a 37-year-old single mom with an 8-year-old son living in an apartment who also has I'm using a different word than the original poster said, complicated relationship with her son's father. I didn't say it mean. I just laid down the facts.
We can talk about this after you finish reading their story.
Do I need to clarify that last paragraph though?
No,
okay.
no, it's fine.
So that annoyed her. She wasn't
No shit.
angry, like yelling at me, but her tone definitely changed and said I didn't need to be so blunt. Her body language also completely shifted to uncomfortable. Anyway, I don't think I'm the asshole. One of my friends I told this to said I wasn't being one, but it was an asshole thing to say. Was there a more tactful way to say that? Should I need to be more tactful? Please don't bash her. She's a great woman, but dating has sucked for her since COVID.
That's fair. Can you read again what her list of things that she wants in her partner are?
So the criteria to date her: if you want to be my lover, you gotta make $200,000, have no kids, never be married, 6 foot tall, and older than her. She's 37. That actually really fit into the song
That
nicely.
did.
Thank you.
I feel like her current situation and her wants for a partner don't really line up. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Sure.
I don't think the person who wrote it is an asshole for talking about the statistics. I think that person is then started towing the line, definitely, or went over the line when they said people that you're looking for have other options.
Right. I actually think they then fully stomped across the line when they're like, why would they like you? Let's list your statistics for a second.
Yeah, like you can say the statistics and that's fine.
Right.
Like that could be like an interesting thing or maybe change her mindset. But instead of changing her mindset, now she's like, well, fuck you!
I also think certain elements of that is like a life I would like to build with somebody, you know? At least I think I'm specifically kind of talking about the money and income aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't, it's like the list is actually kind of crazy. The list is insane of things that she wants. As a person who's actively dating right now, I can tell you that list, if you get 2 of those 4 things,
that's great.
That's second date material right there.
You can work on some of that.
Not saying that she's not worth it and all that more, and then a bag of chips. What I am saying is there might be 5 men in the country that fall into that pool.
Yeah, that are actually looking for a partner at that point. Yeah.
Because for the record, I actually don't think her background totally disqualifies her.
No.
Right? Like a person who, I think I've experienced this myself in some of the people I've met, a person who has found success in their career doesn't necessarily need that in a partner, right? And I certainly know people who are second fathers or like stepfathers to children that they are not biologically connected to, but have raised, and they find a lot of joy and wonderful love in having this family, right? And you can kind of, I don't think her child's a disqualifier.
No, I don't think so either.
Anything about her is a disqualifier.
I don't think anything about her is a disqualifier. It's a little annoying, and maybe we're hearing this secondhand,
right.
And so maybe that list isn't how she delivered it. It's weird to me that the income came first, and then everything that followed are then things that person cannot work on or change.
Right.
You know, because like if you had asked me what I wanted in college, and granted this was like when I was a lot younger, it would have been like I would prefer someone that's tall, someone that like can hold a conversation, is interesting, like funny.
Boy, you cashed out, huh? Good for you.
Did.
Casey's great.
Yeah, Casey's great. But like, I think all of the like personality aspects would come before like, well, I want them to be like well off in life.
Sure.
Like that's great. That's like a good thing to have, but that can come second, you know?
Right.
And that like can come after they get married
I
to
could
you.
almost even forgive listing the annual salary if that was the first like binary data point and everything else was like makes me laugh and has a good sense and style, which is much more subjective.
Yes.
But the next 3 things she also said are check if yes. Like,
and that's not something that they either lie or not. Like,
right. You could have very much been like, you know, never married, a little bit taller than me, around my age or a little bit older, and I don't know, really successful in their career. $200,000 just feels like an odd number to me too.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like once you hit the 6-figure mark, I do get the impression that the raises, I mean, because a 10% raise at that point is significant. It's not like a small jump anymore. And I think it gets pretty easy to get up there. But that's also like, I would just say 6 figures at that point and just kind of let it go. Like 200,000 is, you're right, it's very specific.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
I think because we have to render a verdict.
Yeah.
Asshole or not the asshole?
Well, the question was, am I the asshole for telling my friend dating statistics?
Dating facts.
Dating facts. The facts that they delivered, the like statistics at first, not the asshole, but what they said after makes them the asshole.
I think they are viewing that second portion as part of the dating facts, though.
Oh, that's not a fact, though. That's fucking subjective.
Right. I think they're the asshole.
Yeah.
I think they didn't perhaps set out that way.
No, I think they wanted to truly like be nice and help change their like mindset around it, but they went too far.
They also have fully enjoyed the gossip the entire time.
Yeah.
First paragraph, they're like, we talk about it and I love being privy to it, right? It'd be another thing if it was like, this person's kind of always coming to me with their dating situations and it's not really something that's super interesting to me anymore, or it's personally frustrating. And so I said something that was maybe a little rude or uncouth, but I think it's going to end it. But no, you're like right in there with it.
And also the fact that they were like, and they have a messed up relationship with their child's father.
Right.
Like,
different wording in the original
yeah,
post,
we didn't need to know that, technically.
Right, 100%.
Like, that was you trying to justify your own actions, and that should indicate to you that maybe you screwed this one up, babes.
I'm sure you felt this way about me. I know we have collectively felt this way about I mouthed something to Maya. Many people in our lives where it's like, this person in front of you is perfect for you and has checked off any box you have ever told me. What do you mean you're not interested?
It's so infuriating.
What do you mean you have fallen for the straight cashier at natural grocers or at Sprouts when a person who has asked you how your day was is right there in front of you? So I get that too, where it's like, I'm
From
so
the friend,
frustrated.
It's like a weird vantage point where you can't be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly. I'm like, you don't need someone that makes $200,000. You need someone that isn't going to make you run away in 3 months.
It's so real.
You need someone who I don't have to hear you cry about the second night of Pride. That's who you need. Do you know who you need? You need someone who, when they lose interest in you, if they lose interest in you, you need someone who will just communicate that in a healthy way. Not in the myriad of, no offense, shitty ways ever. People have broken up with our friends, and I'm sure we haven't heard about it. Our friends have broken up with other people, you know?
Yeah, and next to that, maybe before that, you need a therapist. A therapist. There's only so much work I can do.
Men will literally fall for the cashier at Sprouts rather than go to therapy.
That has a different sexuality than them.
Did you see, sorry, whole genre. Pause for 10 seconds.
You're fine. We're recording.
Cool, did you see, it's a trend on TikTok right now. I don't know if it's going to last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
But there's a person who goes, stitch this if you have legitimately funny trauma. And I don't mean like, ha ha ha, okay, trauma. I mean like, on paper, objectively a hilarious story. And then the creator, and I'm so sorry, we'll try to tag you in the notes. Their name's not coming to my mind. This is not me. Just want to make sure that's clear. But she goes, I'll go first.
Is it Brennan Lee Mulligan?
It is Brennan Lee Mulligan. Very good. Everyone can now stab me in the eye. Sorry. If you're a new listener, that was strange. I'm going to reel back in. Don't know where that came from. She goes, I'll go first. My dad left me, my 3 siblings, and my mom to become a break dancer in his 50s. So what you need is a man that won't do that.
The bar is on the ground.
The creator's TikTok video
Which is where the break dancer is, ironically.
She goes, he was on like Good Morning America and CBS Sunday Morning, and everyone was like, up next, the inspiring story of a man who learned to dance in the second half of life. That's up next. And he was like competitively like a good nationally. Yeah. He was on Dancing with the Stars for a couple episodes, fully abandoned his entire family.
He didn't go out for milk. He went out for these streets.
At one point, she like shares a text in this TikTok, and it's like, here's a text message from my dad. Hey, sweetie, lost track of dates. Happy birthday? Question mark. And then the next text is a link to one of his videos. You need a man who won't do that to you.
I wish my trauma was that funny. Damn
Then
it.
you could stitch too.
Yeah. It'll just be sadder.
I think a solid first one. I have 2 more lined up.
Okay.
Do you have
I
one?
have one.
Let's hear yours.
It's a little longer. I didn't go down the route of dating stories. I went down the route of breakups.
That's so Maya core.
Duh. As long as you're not talking about the ocean. Anything is entertaining.
I have almost listened to all of Devil in the Details today.
I was giggling while I was editing it. It was funny. At one point, I turned to Casey. I was like, this one's good. I still have to edit all the reels for it, but I have right now just a compilation of all of my reactions.
Every now and then we'll listen to an episode, and a lot of times it's like, okay, yeah, that came out pretty all right. I can be okay with that.
Yeah.
But this is one where I'm like, actually am proud of how I layered it, and I'm so proud of the reaction I got out of you during it. I was like, boy, I really found my niche. And now I can't come back to it for a while because I have to
do something else. Yeah. I'm hoping Fermi's Paradox is me bouncing back. We'll see.
bouncing back from what? You've had some great episodes.
I don't know. Once I edit the Fermi's Paradox one, I'll feel better about it.
Okay.
I haven't listened to it yet. Okay, so am I the asshole for not taking my buddy's side in a breakup?
Oh, okay. I'm actually starting this one on the fence.
No, that's fair. That's
Okay.
fair. You won't be on the fence real fucking quick.
Okay.
My buddy, let's call him Ben, and his girlfriend of 2 years just broke up. They got into an argument after she informed him that she stopped taking birth control. Ben said that she, quote, blindsided him with this information and that he, quote, can't stay hard with condoms on.
Oh. Okay, sorry. There's just... nope, I'm going to hold it all. But just... Hold on. Say it with me. Hey, kiddo. That's a wild thing you just said. A lot of people are going to have different reactions to what you just said. And I'm telling you, that's wild.
That's crazy. That's crazy what you just said to me. If you have kids in the car, I haven't actually read the rest of this. I just like maybe...
Heads up.
Yeah, heads up. So it will ruin their sex life because he now has to wear condoms. But what got him most mad was that she decided to stop taking birth control without talking it over with him. And she can't be making huge decisions like that on her own without consulting him. She did not like how mad he got about it, and it turned into an extremely ugly argument that ended with her breaking up with him. Ben was devastated and wanted a few guys and me to meet him at his bar. He told the story and all of my buddies were on his side. I was kind of shocked.
Sorry, go ahead.
I told him that it sucks he got dumped and I feel bad, but at the same time, he was in the wrong here. I went on about how taking birth control is totally up to her and he can be bummed by the decision because sex without condoms is way better, but if she doesn't want to take birth control, it's her choice. I have a wife and lots of female friends, and I've heard countless rants on why birth control sucks and taking it can be a nuisance. It's not like she told him about it mid-sex. She told him right away.
Okay.
Then I said, half jokingly, although it's kind of accurate, quote, I love you, man, but that was toxic AF. And yes, I've said it like that to be comically a dick. He did not take my response well. He did not like my response and said I was being an asshole. My one friend took me to the side and said that, quote, this is no time to act woke and that a bro always takes the bro's side in a breakup. It's not like I plan on being friends with her and ditching my friend. I'm still gonna be friends with him. I just now know he has some warped opinions on birth control etiquette and can't hold a boner in condoms. But maybe I did pick the wrong time to point out that he was in the wrong. Maybe I should have just empathized with him for losing his girlfriend. I kind of feel like I broke the bro code for a trivial reason and I could have just said, that sucks, and moved on. There's a couple edits. This one edit. Actually, the second edit is just a TLDR. There's one edit. I feel like I should clarify this because it seems to be something brought up in a lot of the comments. She told him the day she stopped. It wasn't like she hadn't been taking it and just told him now. She stopped the day she told him. Guess I should have just said she stopped taking birth control. Poor wording on my part. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, that edit's crucial because that's the one thing that I was on the fence for. Yeah, you're not the asshole at all. No. Not the asshole at all. We need more men like that.
Yes, as soon as you say, I have a wife and lots of female friends, that's kind of a green flag.
Well,
to me.
also, the green flag for me is like, hey, what you did is actually kind of dangerous or manipulative or controlling and toxic,
Yeah.
100%. But everything that falls under that too. And like, I don't think that's the kind of person you want to be. That's not the kind of person we want out there. Because if they're then receiving all that feedback insularly in their group, that what they did is
They're
fine.
like in an echo chamber.
That their peers are saying like, yeah, that's totally cool.
No.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, what would have been the compromise in that relationship? Like, she wants to stop taking it. That's her prerogative. I fully think, like, if you want to stop taking birth control, stop. Like, it's messed up. Like, the side effects are crazy.
Right.
It has, like, I mean, we covered the person who invented it. Like, it's has a weird history.
It does.
And there are other options, but all
Completely
of those
forgot
options.
that we covered it for a second too. You said, and for like the last 10 seconds, I've been like, oh yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Most of the other options that are like acceptable right now by like straight men are all women hormonal birth control.
Right.
And that's like, no matter what she's on, she's gonna have those side effects. And if she doesn't want those side effects, sorry, bro, like, you're gonna need something.
I think for him, if this relationship, if this friendship ends because of this, I mourn the loss of the immediacy of that friendship, and I celebrate the fact that what you expect out of your friends is different. I have said this to my own students. I've said this to other people. I've said this to my siblings and my family. One of the things I value most about our group, our community that we have here, and I think people who've listened to us for a couple episodes cue in on it pretty quickly, is that we are always in love, honest with each other. And that when I go to you guys with a true question or dilemma or like situation I'm trying to navigate through, I know that what you guys tell me is going to be true. It's going to be your honest take on it. That you are considering my feelings in the way you say it to me, but not considering my feelings in what it is that you ultimately need to say to me. Yeah. And that is like so invaluable, right? I think that's what everyone really wants. And he clearly was in a friendship where that wasn't the relationship. That wasn't the dynamic, you know?
There's also a thing with like straight male friends. I've noticed this with like some of Casey's friends too, where he doesn't feel like he can be vulnerable with them about certain things. And it's like that because they just want to protect this like little bro code that they have going on. And that bro code includes like some really toxic behavior at some point. And I feel like this is part of that where like, even if one of the other friends maybe agreed with him, they weren't going to say that at that point. And like the one friend took him aside and was like, bro, that wasn't okay. Like,
Not that I disagree with you.
Yeah.
But what
not
you
like,
said in that
let's
moment.
have a conversation about it. Instead, he was like, that was a stupid thing to do. And it's like, I don't know. No, the OP is not the asshole.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he should probably get a new friend group. Yeah.
And I also think too, there's all these Valentine's Day posts right now about celebrating female relationships.
Hell yeah.
And it was like an 11 p.m. text message, or I thought it'd be weird to just send it to you and like Lydia and a couple other people. And I was like, I'll just hold on to it, or whatever. But I do really think one of the things I'm so grateful for when it comes to being queer is that I get a chance to, in some way, participate in these female-centered relationships. Yeah. And my brother and sister-in-law have spent time around us, and they've both commented that the thing that they love is the like depths of our conversations that we can have with each other. That's my favorite part about having like older friends too, because I feel like it's an SNL skit where it's like weekends, like bro, yeah. There's oh god. I cut you off. I want to pause there. Sorry, what were we going to say? Yeah, well, when we were at my cousin's ski trip, so the cousins that were there, Jordan and Chan, I had met them several times while I was really young. But then I didn't really know them at all through like my high school or their high school, really. And so they had an understanding that I was younger than them. I think Jordan kind of knew because he lives in Denver, so like we do interact more. Now, but Chandler and Gabby had no idea. We're like personally offended. Yeah, because we were waiting for dinner at some point, and Casey was doing that thing where he complains about how old he is because he does that. And I was like, you are... storm's coming, my knees make a noise. Like, babe, you are objectively the youngest person here. Correct. By
quite a bit.
Yes.
And Gabby turned to me and went, wait, how old are you guys? And I looked at her and I went, 24 and 25. And she went, what? The next day she was still mad at me about it. She was like, don't think I've forgotten.
You better get your ass up on that mountain.
Yeah.
You better get your butt to that après ski.
So stupid. Yeah. And so we were kind of talking about it and like about how the friends that we've made outside of graduating college have all been quite a bit older than us. And I don't know if that's like who we are as people or what, but I feel like we're more inclined to hang out with like people that aren't our age, because sometimes Casey's college friends are great. They have their pros, but there's some moments where I'll like be hanging out with you and Lydia, or I'll hang out with Maddie and Abby, and then I hang out with them and I'm like, oh my God. What?
There's this argument for nature versus nurture.
Mm-hmm.
I am oftentimes, my mom and I, when we call each other, we just kind of compare social calendars for the next week.
Yeah.
I'll be like, well, then we're going to the Petersons. So it's like, totally get it. I'm getting dinner with the Bohawks. And she's like, well, and then the next day we're going to the basketball game. I was like, yeah, no, me and Maya are going to go to a show downtown. And it's just like, we're not bragging or trying to one up each other. We're just
like hanging
talking
out.
about the week. And so that has always felt a bit more like nature, or I guess, is that nurture maybe? When parents raise us. Anyways, being in Las Vegas for my younger straight brothers bachelor party where there's 13 of us, and that means there's me and then there's 12 others that are in kind of 3 or 4 different like smaller groups that have all come together, and watching my brother very kind of
have
specifically
to like change the way he like kind of interacts with
not
everybody.
change the way he interacts but it's almost looked like he was rehearsing for his own wedding. He was like doing table touches with each group, and we would walk between casinos, and
really cute.
Vegas is like, it's a really long strip, and my brother would manage to somehow or another like start at the front, and then he'd be the last one into the casino by the time we'd gotten there, because he'd had ended up with like a solo conversation.
That's
know.
So cute.
I know, and I think part of it is because he has a lot of friends that aren't straight men. I think he's
learned
a little bit. I think so,
Yeah.
and not. I realize now it sounds like 20 minutes, and we're both like, aren't straight men awful? You and I both, on the record, loving them. It's just, I think these social dynamics in situations that you go to live in can be very constrictive if there's not a little diversity in the people that are there in it.
Yeah, because like some of the friends that we've had have really been in like echo chambers since they were like in high school.
Right.
And so they haven't gotten a chance to hang out with people of color. Or hang out with other, like some of them are still like, they're fine with like people of different sexualities. Like they're totally fine with
college
it.
Friends?
Some of them, but like some of them are like totally fine with it, but they're still like a little uncomfortable just because they don't spend time.
It's new.
Yeah, it's like still new to them. They don't really know. It's like when you meet someone that's non-binary for the first time and you like have to like act like the pronoun switch.
Right.
It's like that. But then it's like
so funny.
It's like, are you being like really accepting, or are you like a little homophobic?
One of my favorite things about being gay is identifying that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then saying a gay joke that person gets to be in on, not out on. And then it's like, welcome, brother. Welcome. Welcome. Come on in. Well, I would just call my friend really particular.
Yeah. It's like he's not gay, but like you could believe it if you saw him.
Didn't I call your cousin homophobic like 10 minutes into meeting him? Yeah, but in a lovely way.
He's very chill.
Yeah.
I like to call him. I was like talking to Casey about Chandler because he hadn't met Chandler yet.
Okay.
And it was like, yeah, Chandler's a lot like Jordan, but with like far fewer sticks up his ass. They still quote it back to me.
Well, you know why. It's that traveling bidet. Listen, you don't need to have been at the dinner to know what that joke was.
It's a traveling bidet. Okay, well, you pull up the next one. I'm going to refresh my wine.
Okay.
Yeah, when Kelsey and Edgar leave when they were younger, they used to wreak havoc. And so
these two.
The remnant of that, now that they're older, is that Bo still has to get his trazodone at night when they're gone. So these pillows all have to go up on the crate at night because sometimes Bo will decide...
he actually hates one of them.
He actually hates everything, and he will drag them outside and destroy them. Kelsey actually just has a bunch of these pillows downstairs.
It's actually really considerate that he destroys them outside.
Yes, exactly. Before, when they were still pretty young, this was like right when I was just starting to watch them. Okay. One of my friends was watching them overnight, and they escaped.
Nice.
They ran.
Terrifying.
Yeah, especially because
They are runners.
well, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
When I was watching them for Kelsey's wedding, I don't remember what we were doing. Someone opened the door for too long. We were at like an Airbnb, and I was watching the dogs for them, and someone opened the door for too long, and Bo ran.
Sure.
And I was running through this fucking mountain town like Kelsey's wedding is like tonight.
Right. We can't lose her dog.
She's going to kill me. Like, I need to go into the witness protection program if I lose this dog right now. But this is them as puppies.
Oh.
This was for the Broncos Super Bowl, I think.
Nice.
They're
Cute
wearing
little colors.
Broncos colors. I love this. That's how you can tell them apart, because Kaya has the thing down her face.
Oh, nice. Okay. As we jump back into the episode 2, I was talking to my parents who were in town this last weekend, and my mom goes, "You guys are just all your episodes are like over 2 hours now," and I'm like, "Yeah," and Mom's like, "No, I want like 42 minutes. I want like a tight little story." And it's my mom wants to support and also needs us to be an easier thing to check off her list. She goes, "I never want to walk that long." And I don't know how to tell her that she's just kind of supposed to listen to it in parts.
Or just like go on 2 walks. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Over, you have a
exactly.
week.
Right, exactly. Thank you. So Mom's like, "You guys you have too long of episodes." And I go, "Hey, I hear you, and I do value your feedback." My mom, that's also where we get it from. Mom and Dad have never, especially as adults, shielded their honest opinion. They've been kind about it, but you can always... Oh, right. Sorry.
What's that like?
Sorry, I thought I was making a callback to this episode, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. So anyways, I look at my mom and I go, so all of the other feedback we've gotten has said no.
Yeah. All the feedback we've gotten, we have never once had a complaint about a long episode.
Right, exactly.
I think there's been times where people have maybe been like, great, this is going to be a couple days.
Right.
Otherwise, we get people that are like, thank God it's 3 hours.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My favorite history podcast is the Dan Carlin Hardcore History podcast, and he does a great job of putting them together. And before we were podcasters, that feels weird to say.
It does feel weird to say.
But
I mean, we make some money. I feel like we're officially
we do. I mean,
podcasters.
it's a lot better than it was before.
We have a nice camera now.
And I'm in camera. That's crazy.
Yeah, I have my phone with me because it's not recording.
Anyways, before we were podcasters,
I'm in camera. Shut the fuck up. I was doing my best.
I know, and it's just kind of funny.
It's just going to be how it is forever.
There's like 6 lights on us right now. We grown. I even like our little backlight right now. Don't look like I didn't know what it was for. I listen. I don't know a lot, but I listen. Anyways, so
Yeah,
Dan Carlin puts out 2 or 3 episodes a year, and it's never enough. But each episode's like 4 or 5 hours long.
They're like productions.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for a really long time, I'm like, well, of course. Like, of course it takes that long to get that much out.
Yeah.
And like in 1 month, we'll put out 10 hours of content sometimes. And now I'm like, okay, Dan Carlin, all right.
Pull it together.
But, he's also...
What, do you have a day job?
Yeah. He's an author and also his stuff is really well sourced and researched. And one of the things you get out of that out of those episodes is a really cool... I'm such a history nerd. I'm sorry.
No, I get it.
I'll just wrap it up. Really good perspectives, and I've appreciated it. You can tell anytime he does an episode, it's like, oh my man, you read at minimum 4 books on this topic and pulled quotes out of each one, and that's obviously a huge
Those are really
commitment.
cool. Yeah, so I love true crime podcasts, right? There's a few that I really love, and that's why we drink, like My Favorite Murder, Crime Junkie, and there's like other funny ones like Wine and Crime and stuff. And they tend to do just like stories, but my favorites, and maybe I said a couple that are actually investigative journalists, but my favorites are the investigative journalist podcasts, because those ones, like, they'll only produce like a season and maybe they're only 5 episodes, but like you get them as they're like knocking on the door of like the suspect trying to get answers and stuff. And then you also get like the production value. There's like background noises and like all this shit. And it's like, oh my God.
I want you to know with true sincerity, I have thought probably not this summer because we're still growing, but next summer on my summer break, doing a limited series, like for Well I Laughed or within the Well I Laughed universe, or we can do like a little Denver history or something. You know, give me a month, bring in some of my friends who are journalists and things like that, kind of do it up. I think that'd be so much fun. We can go to like the mall. I think I like doing like a vlogging kind of like podcast would be a fun challenge. Oh, see, but like with I'm here for that. Yeah. My dream would have been like, I'm standing here where 145 years ago, the last known remnant, like it's like a long history podcast where I'm like interviewing the descendants and we're like looking at artifacts, or maybe it's something a lot more like Shit Town where I like get to know and I can kind of embed. I don't know. All of this is just dreams now. It's episode 3 of the theme. It's our free form episode is what I'm trying to say. That would be fun. That would be really fun. Please do that once we have a editor on payroll. Yeah. Or I have learned how to edit. Yeah. That's also possible. During your summer, we can teach you. Thank you. Yeah. Shall we jump back into it? Yes, let's do it. Oh, before I mentioned a lot of true crime podcasts, but not like some of the like the investigative journalist podcasts that I listen to. If you're looking for any of those, there's In My Backyard or something like that. It's about the murder that happened in California. If you're into true crime, you'll recognize it immediately. It was a long time unsolved case. It was a long time cold case that this guy did. There's also The Deck. The Deck Investigates. There is Something Was Wrong. Season 1 of Something Is Wrong was phenomenal. Counterclock is good. These are all recommendations from my hairstylist, I'm now realizing. Counterclock is really good. The Deck Female relationships are the most important relationship. Sorry, I just assumed she's a woman. She is. I know. Yeah, it's our friend. Yeah. The first time I went into her salon, I was like, I don't know, like if I should like keep going to like this hairstylist. Like it's expensive to like get your hair done. I want to support small businesses. And then we started talking about true crime, and I was like, great, this is going to be something I spend my money on. This is my forever person. I don't care how expensive she is. This is what we're doing now. Okay, you can continue. So third story from Reddit, and we have one more after this. Am I the asshole for walking out on a guy on a date? No. Never. Here it is. Respect your time. Queen. So this just happened, and I'm now discussing it with my flatmate, so we're in the UK, who has a different view than me. We figured we'd see how Reddit feels. I, 32 female, just met a guy, 38 male, for a date. We started talking 2 days ago on Bumble, and he suggested we meet up after work for drinks today. We didn't speak much on the app. He said he preferred to go straight out for a drink, and I'm the same way. Especially after 30, that's super common. Yes. If you're 19, 20, 21, one of our college listeners, that little pen pal's cute. FaceTime ASAP. That's my life advice for your 20s. FaceTime ASAP. Anyways, I met him outside the bar around 5:30 p.m. right after work. And we went inside for a drink. He seemed nice, relaxed, and chill. We sat down and talked for a bit about the bar and the holiday that I had just gotten back from. I love the British vacation. Holiday. All fine, but then it got weird. Oh. After that topic came to an end, I asked him how his day was. He said something like, yeah, fine, a bit long and stressful, but I'm glad it's the weekend soon. So I followed up with, so what do you do? Yeah. After that, he didn't say anything for a second, looked at me sort of aggressively, and then just said, that quickly? Because he wants to know, or he thinks she cares about what he makes. I said something like, sorry? Because seriously, what the fuck is that as an answer? Yeah, like what do you do? That's what she wrote in the audio. And he goes, then he said in a very aggressive, honestly almost angry voice, you're just interested in how much money I make. Is that it? I hate men. I was so taken aback. I just said, okay, down my drink, and walked out. I just got back and told my flatmate about it, who is also male. His perspective is that he's been out with girls who were just interested in his money, and that maybe it was a sensitive point for that guy. And I should have clarified that I was asking out of interest rather than walking out. My point of view
No.
is that it's a normal question you ask when you meet someone for the first time. And that his response was a red army of flags. And
Yes.
walking out was the right call. Am I the asshole?
No, abso-fucking-lutely not. If your first response is going to be a trauma response and you're then putting it on someone that you just met, that is immediately a red flag for the rest of your relationship. It doesn't matter if you could have explained yourself and you would have calmed down.
Right.
That's like an immediate, like, you need therapy if like something has happened to you where you are that triggered by someone asking you what you do, which for the record is a very normal question to ask. That's something that you spend 40 or more hours of your week doing, or
Right.
less, I guess, if you're an entrepreneur or whatever. But like, that's not a weird question to ask because it does take up a lot of your time. It's similar to asking, what do you do in your free time?
Right.
And for him to then assume the worst about her because she asked a normal question is messed up. She could have absolutely given him more chances. I think it's her prerogative to then decide that she doesn't need to spend her time anymore with him.
I think a huge thing too is he had just shared that work had been stressful.
Yeah.
And that he was looking forward to the weekend.
It's not
so
even
they're
like- yeah.
already kind of talking about work.
It's not even that she like just brought it up out of the
No.
blue. Like they sat down and she was like, so what do you do? Which
Right.
also very normal progression of a
Especially
date.
if we both agree, let's meet after
After
work
work.
for drinks.
One of my favorite pastimes is going on walks with my dogs around 5:30 or 6.
I know that. I don't know what's going to come next, but I already know that that is a big pastime for
I
you.
love that because you get to see, especially on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because you see because I live in a trendy part of Denver, and so there's a lot of trendy bars.
Sure.
So I see all the people going in for their dates.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love trying to
you
like
do.
point out, because I'll be walking.
Don't go to dates on Friday or Saturdays. Do not waste a Friday and Saturday
Oh my
on a
God,
date. We'll get to
don't
that
do
later.
I
Sorry,
mean,
go
like,
ahead.
if you're gonna do it, do like earlier. I don't know, but if you're also just don't do it. But it's really funny to like pick out the girls and guys that are like
Yes.
very clearly going on a date, and those who are just like going out with like their longtime partner. Like
Right.
me and Casey, I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and this girl that I'm assuming is on a first or second date is like in the cutest little outfit
Right.
ever. It's just so funny to me. And Casey and I love eavesdropping on first dates. So if you ever see us and you're on a first date, move tables because
We're listening.
I'm listening. Casey's not listening, I should tell you. I'm listening and I will debrief Casey later. Because sometimes I'll look at him and they'll like look over at the table and be like wide eyes, like, are you listening to this? And Casey's like, oh, I haven't been. But there's a couple times where we're both listening and we're both looking at each other like, oh, you didn't just say that.
One of my favorite roles to play for the people in my life is the role of social husband. I'm not financial husband. I'm not.
Why do you think I invited him to drinks with my
Oh,
cousin
listen.
and then bought the drink?
I'm not.
also.
I'm not romance husband. I'm not.
Social husband.
Yeah, I am social husband. Do you know how many plays Jacob has not had to go to?
Exactly.
Do you know how many stories you won't need to catch me up on? Because we will both just pretend to be on our phones together. Yes. I think totally normal to ask them what they do for work.
Yeah.
Now, if you had just finished talking about a vacation you were on,
And then-
I went, so what do you do?
That's weird.
That's weird. But
It's also not strange for a first date though,
No.
because like sometimes there's awkward silences and you have questions in your mind of like, what do we ask on first dates?
well, there's also this, maybe this is now controversial. Let us know. But I actually do think you do learn more about a person when you find out what they do and what brought them there. If it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I always had the skills in college, I wasn't sure what to do, this was something I could do, and now that's what I do, that's totally fine. This is what I was raised doing, my parents did it, that's totally fine. This is what I do, and I'm like super passionate about it, I want to know that. This is what I do, and I get value from it because of my interaction. I want to know that.
And even if you're doing your
Yes.
job just for the money, I still want to know like
Right.
the reason behind why you're doing that job in the first place, you know? Like,
as Dr. Brene Brown has said,
someone count the times he said that, please.
please listen to all 100 hours of this. I have never met a wholehearted person who was miserable at work. And that's something that I want to know myself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that every day you have to be obsessed with your job. I know I'm lucky that I really do love my day job. I think I would struggle to be with someone long term who truly, Monday through Friday, during the day, hated every second of it. So I want to know. I want to know when we're getting to know each other. What do you do?
Your job does not need to be your passion project.
Right.
It can be something that you do that you get like a base amount of like dopamine out of, or literally money.
Right.
That's fine. I think if the guy was like looking for a moment to think that she was like in it for the money, he could have waited until the check came and then been bitter. But like, even then, that's still toxic behavior.
100%.
Like, I've seen so many interactions between women and men where the man pays and then he expects her to come home with him or something like that. It's like
I want to point out that's true also in the gay community too.
Yeah,
that becomes like a whole ball. I think
it's a whole thing in like dating. In dating,
yes.
especially in straight relationships, it tends to most often be the man that like it's most common for the men to like feel like they need to pay, and like a lot of my friends, my female friends at least, have made a point to like never let that happen and always split the check, or at least like Casey and I's first date, he paid for the food, I paid for the drinks. I lost that deal because Casey can drink a lot.
He can also eat a lot. I don't know how you thought you were going to win that deal.
I spent way more money at the bar than he spent on food, I think. I actually don't remember. But yeah, it's just, you can't, first dates, you can't, I don't think you can figure someone out that quickly by them trying to get to know you. You know, like you had that first date experience where someone tipped poorly.
Yes.
And that says a lot about who they are. That's their actions.
Wasn't even that big of a bill.
Yeah. That's not even like them, like, I don't know, like you asked something and they responded poorly. That was just like their gut response. And that's a perfectly good reason to like understand someone's character better. But someone asks, like trying to get to know you. Right. And they just don't know the right questions to ask you because you have specific questions you don't want them to ask.
It's
like
the immediate flash to anger. That's a huge
red flag.
Yeah.
That tells me way more about their personality than anything else. And that's so
couple things that I'm really proud. Original poster did. First, hear me out. Do not waste Friday and Saturdays going on dates.
No, yeah.
Everyone knows Sunday is errands anyways.
Also, Friday and Saturday you look forward to, and if you're anything like me, you're going to be nervous about going on a first date or a second date. Don't do that to yourself.
Also, dates end up taking up both the time they've been selected for
and the emotional energy.
The before and then the after is super hard to plan, and you don't know what you're going to exit out of that. Dates can be great a lot of times, and if they are great, how wonderful is it to go to work the next day having had a wonderful dinner that evening?
I will say it's probably different for college students because you like have homework and shit, and like weekends are the only.
I would actually still argue, like, if the weekend is your time to recharge and be in your community, don't write that all off for like the dice roll of a date. Go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. After your main stuff is done.
If you go to mines, this doesn't apply to you. Don't listen to Grant.
I was a humanities major.
We had so much homework, Grant.
Go out for the evening. That's my first rule. Second rule, you can always leave. That was actually really revolutionary. I remember, what movie was it? I don't remember what movie it was, but I left being like, why did I just waste 2.5 hours at that movie? I didn't like it. I could have just left.
Movies are weird dates also.
Oh, not even on a date. I just taken myself to a movie. So it's don't waste a Friday, Saturday if you don't have to. Mine, students excluded. Second, you can always leave. You can always physically remove yourself from the situation. And the third thing, this is just kind of a general rule. It might be because now I'm like 30 and dating. Just split the check. Unless you guys got something wildly different in prices, split the check.
Yes.
I have enjoyed the freedom of negotiation that provides afterwards. Yeah. And at times when I have picked up the check, because I've done that before, it's fine. But I actually think it then almost creates a weird dynamic.
It's a power dynamic.
Yes, it's 100% that. I just want to be in an equal partnership with all of this. Let's just split the check. And we don't even need to itemize it. If we ordered roughly the same thing, let's just put 2 cards down.
Also, most restaurants now, if you just give them 2 cards, they know who ordered what.
Right.
They'll split it for you.
Exactly. And so, split the check. Yeah. Go out on a weeknight. You can always leave. Proud of you.
I'm actually, very proud of this person for leaving. I would have been too socially anxious to just walk out. I would have gone through the date and then just never talk to them again.
Do you know what? Did it say that we've heard a couple of ages. I wonder, did this post say her age?
Yeah.
Nope, that's not what
it was. If it was me in college, there's no way in hell I would have walked out.
She is 32.
Okay.
I think that's part
That
of
makes
it too.
sense, yeah.
It's the lived experience of you do not need to talk to me this way, and I don't need to sit
think
here
as you
for
get
it.
older, you realize your own worth
Yeah.
a lot more. And so it's easier for you to be like, I don't need to spend my time doing this. I have other shit to do. And also,
Yes.
like your roommate sounds great, but also like gross.
Yeah.
A
And
little bit.
also, if I can share this one last thing, this actually might be controversial. I recognize that. I'm also going to go ahead and tee off and say everyone's relationship with alcohol is different, and everyone's on their own journey. If the option is there for you,
Coffee date.
yes. If the option is there for you not to drink on that first date, I would strongly encourage you not to.
Yeah.
I understand it's fun to get drinks, especially if you are physically attracted to this person. If you're kind of like, ooh, like, let's get that vibe going,
Also like
things like
loosens
that.
you up, but that's also a dangerous
right
part of it.
You don't want to realize 2 hours in, as you start to sober up, that you have been flirtier than you intended to, that you're actually maybe a little less interested in this than you thought you were an hour ago, and everything kind of catches up to you. It's also really nice if you're sober for an entire date, doing that recap on the drive home by yourself. If you're going home by yourself, obviously dates end lots of ways, but if you're doing that drive home by yourself and you're thinking to yourself, was that an enjoyable time? Like, did I actually enjoy that? It's a lot easier to replay the tape if you are sober for all of it. And so maybe that's a 30 thing. Maybe that's coming from a position of privilege. I've just found increasingly I want to try to put myself in a situation where I can stay sober the entire time.
Yeah,
At least the first date.
I did most of my dating when I was under 21, so
So you were never sober.
exactly.
Exactly.
No, I was either doing coffee dates or I was in my little hoe phase. So I wasn't really going on dates.
Speaking of little hoe phase, let me tell you the last story of the night.
So excited.
The title to this story, Am I the Asshole for Dating Normally?
Oh, I think you might be just the way that you said that. Trying
Like,
to
also,
justify your behavior.
the text is probably too
Holy
small.
shit!
It's not actually that long, but they just didn't enter it all
I
or
know.
anything. But that's, how else was I supposed to have read that title?
That's some type A.
Yes.
That's not type A, is what I meant to say. Like, I space out my texts when they're longer than 4 sentences.
Here's the text.
I'm excited.
I, male 29, have been dating a girl that I really like, female 26, for 4 months. She's a nurse and a paramedic, and I work in a bank. Since we started dating, we would see each other every week, 1 or 2 nights. But after a month, it became more so like 3 or 4 nights a week at hers or my place. Sometimes, if she is on call, I don't see her for a few days because it disturbs my sleep too, and she feels bad for it. Sorry, this person did not use a lot of periods.
You're good.
And she feels bad for it, but if it's not busy for me, I haven't minded. Oh, if it's not busy at time for him. He's like,
We
I don't
just
mind being
reread
with
the
him.
sentence.
Yep, there we go. Sometimes she's on call. I don't see her for a few days because it'll disturb my sleep too, and she feels bad about it. I don't always mind it if I'm not too busy, but she cares. We talk every day and say goodnight every day by message, and I initiate it a lot. I'm happy with the time we spent together, and she seemed to be too. When we first started dating, we would... Are we saying sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said condoms.
True. When we first started dating, we had sex on the 3rd date, and we discussed we were both STD tested and clear since our last encounter. Fast forward to now, and she was feeling a bit under the weather and got tested, and it was positive for chlamydia and HPV.
Oh.
I have continued seeing some old friends with benefits when she's been away on nights and are not together. And now she is saying I'm an asshole as one of them gave them to me. They have now also been tested, and I have too. I have said to her that we never defined the relationship, that I'm poly or ethically non-monogamous, and she said she thought us being together during that time meant we were more serious, and I led her on and risked her health and lied to her by not disclosing it. But I said, that's normal now, and you shouldn't assume anyone is only dating you. She has to have a GYN test to monitor the HPV. She never asked me if I was seeing anyone else, and I never asked her, as it's none of my business, if she's seen anyone else. This is just normal until we define it. And I was thinking we would eventually, but I wasn't ready to just yet, and I wanted more time. I like her, and I don't want to lose her. Am I the asshole?
How long were they seeing each other?
I think it said 4 months, but let me confirm.
That's still a long time.
4 months.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that's hard. Yes. If you're non-monogamous or poly, you absolutely need to disclose that pretty early in the relationship, especially before you have sex. Like, I think that's more common in queer relationships to like disclose that kind of thing. But in straight relationships, you need to disclose if you are actively having sex with someone else. That's a health concern at that point. HPV is relatively normal. I feel like it's, especially when you're younger, it works itself out of its system. I had HPV at one point and it worked itself out within like a year or something like that. Chlamydia is like both of those things at once. Right. Seems like a lot. And like, I've never gone through the treatment for chlamydia or anything like that, or HPV, honestly, because my doctor was like, not even worth it. If you're sleeping with someone, you need to tell people if you're sleeping with other people, not because of the monogamy thing or anything like that. Right. Just for safety. Or like, you need to be taking precautions about that. Right. Because it does seem like they weren't, if she was able to contract it like that. Because I also didn't really do like have unprotected sex that often. I think because non-monogamy and polygamy are still like not common. Sure. It's better to talk about it early on. Right. Before that potentially becomes a problem, because you don't know what that other person thinks. And like, if you're gay or bi and you tell someone that you're dating, if you're like dating a man and you're a woman and you tell them you're bi, like they could have a reaction to that you didn't see coming, and that could tell them a lot about their character. It's just like, it's protecting yourself, it's protecting them. If you're having sex with multiple people, you need to be telling them. You don't need to tell them like the details. Right. You need to say something about that, because yes, you absolutely fucking risked her health, and for you to assume that like, well, it's normal and I'm just like really with the times and she's not, is like kind of a dick thing to do. Oh, it's honestly, it's beyond a dick thing to do. It sounds like pretty early on, the woman in this post became the OP's primary partner. Yeah. That maybe he wasn't calling her girlfriend, boyfriend, but they became primary sexual partner. Yeah. And I'm not an expert on ethically non-monogamous. I want to state that now. Yeah. But communication with a person's primary partner around who else they are sleeping with, unprotected, and how frequently, is, I actually think, maybe the only true definition of ethical non-monogamy you can present, right? It's not ethical if you're not telling people about it. You can't just throw around the ENM title if you just want to sleep around. And I want to point out that there is, I'm not here to cast judgment on someone sleeping around, but that means that sometimes those actions have consequences for the other people. Right. And while this person's intentions may have never been to spread that disease to other people, and it sounds like they carry some guilt around it, what they need to also carry is some responsibility around it. Because especially men very often don't face the symptoms of those two diseases as well. Like when I found out I had HPV, I told Casey and he got like anxious about it. And he was like, do I need to get tested? There's not even a fucking test. It doesn't fucking matter. What? For men, we're like, oh, it's fine. Oh, okay. Yeah, so like his doctor was like, oh, like, don't even worry about it. And I was like, what the Paul and Michelle, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. It's been honestly, this has been a longer episode 3 than I feel like some of them have been. We've really gotten into it. That last
Because here's the thing. I think, too, it starts off with, am I the asshole for being totally normal?
Yeah.
And it's
that's
like,
immediately a red flag.
Right. I don't know how quickly he posted this after he was confronted. If it's like she leaves and he's immediately on Reddit typing it out, I get some emotional language. But ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let us lay down the facts as they are
Of this
before
totally
us.
normal dating procedure.
OP creates a primary partner relationship with someone who had reason to believe they're 3 to 4 times a week, constituting more than half of the week.
Yeah, also, what are you seeing these other people?
That's also, thank you.
What schedule are you on?
I am an extrovert, and I'm like, no.
No, I need like
No.
3 is my max for a week.
I was fully laid down, sat on my couch, wrapped up in blankets, and you were like, do you want to come meet my cousins for a little bit last night? And it was almost 8 by that point, and I said, of course I do. I will be there. I'm going to have a quiet night in 2 nights. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What does it mean?
What do you mean? Also, the whole thing about sometimes she's on call, total victim blaming there. Actually,
Yes.
as I unpack this more, he was like, well, I wouldn't have slept around with other people if she was there
available.
all the time. And also,
Gross.
regardless if you're poly or E&M, even if you're like, I'm going to be having unprotected intercourse with these other partners outside of our relationship, and I want you to know that carries some risks to it.
The unprotected part is so crucial
Right.
here.
Like, if primary partner understands that's what you're doing and is accepting of the risks, then this all becomes above board. And this is an unfortunate, but at times happens,
Expected,
consequence.
yeah.
Maybe not always expected. I mean,
But,
I don't want to, but like
understood
right,
almost.
This is okay. We knew this was an option, and now it is what has happened. But this person's whole world got flipped upside down because she found out in the course of like 3 days she doesn't actually have a boyfriend.
She has two diseases
Right.
that she might now have to do something about.
And the person who she trusted and who she had been staying with and been forming a relationship with not only had been seeing other people, but isn't actually like is sympathetic, but is not taking responsibility
And is also
for
blaming
his
her.
role in it all.
It's blaming her for not expecting this.
Correct. 100%.
I fully accept other sexualities and other sexual orientations and other identities and stuff, but you have to acknowledge the normalcy of it.
Right.
Because if you're presenting as a straight man, there's nothing to make me believe that your sexual identity is going to be different from straight man unless you tell me that.
Right.
Or unless you make some indication that like, yes, I'm not monogamous.
You can be straight and polyamorous.
Yes, straight. Sorry, that's the wrong. Monogamous.
There we go.
Yeah, if you're straight monogamous, like that's going to be what people assume because
Right.
polyamory and like non-monogamy is going to be something that is not expected. Like you need to communicate that shit.
Yes.
It's not like I can like look at like I have a pretty good gaydar. I do like to judge. But even then I'm still shocked
Just
sometimes.
watching that wine go further and further down Maya's. I'm pretty good at telling who's gay. There's a little shoulder shimmy if you're not on YouTube.
Listen, ask Casey. I'm pretty good at it. It's if I'm attracted to you, that's indicator number 1.
I am just right now remembering we're on Patreon. We're not currently
No,
on
we're not.
Patreon. I about ripped out some real secrets. Gonna go ahead and put it
Back in your mouth.
back in there. Tune in like I think 10 minutes and you'll hear
Yeah.
all about it.
Anyway, yes, you're the asshole.
Yeah, total asshole. And you're not an asshole because you're ethnically non-monogamous. You're an asshole because you're non-ethically non-monogamous.
You're not communicating that shit and then assuming other people should be assuming that.
Right,
Like,
and
what?
that's coming from, sorry, Greg and Teresa, if you're listening to this. That's coming from a person who has absolutely formed relations and connection at times with couples or individuals who are in a couple. Like, truly no judgment on
No judgment at
that
all.
kind of relationship.
You just need to
There's
tell
value
people.
in it. It's just all about communication.
Especially if you're having unprotected sex.
I've broken my mic. Okay, well, this has been a great episode, I think.
Overextend it. And then
I feel overextended all the time.
I know, but like if you overbend
Nice,
it, yeah,
you're
then
right.
it'll stay
Okay.
in the right place. Yeah.
You can find us. Right? Are we doing the closing
Yeah,
speech?
sure.
Okay, cool. I have nothing else.
I have nothing else either.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Go
You
for
can
it.
find us You can find us on social media on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok.
And if you want to hear Grant's secrets, you go to Patreon.
And we're Will I Laughed or Will I Laughed Podcast
Something
on
like
all
that.
of that. And you can email us at willilaughdpod@gmail.com. The very first email we got, we read basically the next day. And now we are like, thank you. Please give us 6 to 8 business weeks
I know.
and we will respond to you.
I have some emails I need to respond
We
to.
read them all initially, and I think you and I are both caught up in the must deliver a perfect response.
Exactly, that we're
it's-
not, like,
it's
thinking
like
about it,
a
yeah.
2-month
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
time.
also, speaking of which, there was someone that emailed us. I think they went by L or something. I don't know. You know who you are. I responded to your email. Good luck with college applications.
Oh, you did respond to it. That's
Yeah,
cute.
we're so proud of you, and we know
We
that it's a
really are.
hard place to be in. And yeah, we love you.
And we appreciate you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, the theme.
Oh, right. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I don't even know what the theme is.
Oh,
I'm
I
so
also
excited.
don't really know what the theme is. I'm between a couple of options.
It's
we'll
your
read them
theme.
now. I know. I know the story. I don't know the theme. I asked Kelsey and Edgar for help.
That's so funny. Kelsey and Edgar helped me come up with Welcome to
I know
New York.
that's why because I was in the
Nice.
middle of texting them anyway,
Nice.
and then I was like, well, you know the story because they know what the story is,
Okay.
and then I was like, help. Okay, these are the options that we have, and I'll decide later.
Oh, I don't get to help you decide now. You're going to decide later.
Well, we can decide when I do
That's
the
fine. I
story.
just wanna know the
don't
rules.
Yeah. We have explosive competition, epic rivalries, and way over the top. Those are our 3 options.
We had a listener today, while I was stopped at a red light driving here, suggest the theme beef to us.
That's not bad. I do want to save that.
Okay.
I feel like that'll be more applicable for
There was
something
just this
else.
moment where I'm like,
That is
wait,
pretty funny.
Are you the German grad student whose Instagram messaged us?
No. That is a funny.
I'm
funny one.
gonna not weigh in because I feel like I always feel a lot of things. I'm gonna wait for you to tell me what it is.
I want to
but I'm
finish
feeling
the
good.
research because I know the story. I haven't done.
What were the options again?
Explosive competition, epic rivalry, and way over the top.
Tune in next week to
And
find
you'll
out
find out.
what theme it is.
I don't know yet.
Until then, friends, thanks for sitting here with
Thanks.
us.
Bye.
Bye.